taking us back to the time when the zombie apocalypse was starting, before Rick woke up from his coma, before the world fell quiet and dead. Being quiet and dead might be spooky, but it's certainly not as thrilling as a world in chaos, with a title card like this, and the promise of fear. Let's see if this story in the Walking Dead universe lives up to that promise, as we follow this family's journey as they try to comprehend the nightmare they're living in and how they're going to survive. The story begins with this guy, Nicholas Clark, waking up in a rundown house after a heavy night of chasing a dragon. Nothing unusual for him so far, but then he hears the echoes of a scream, and his friend is nowhere to be found. Oh, here she is, chomping down on some guy's neck. And already we can feel the difference between seeing a freshly animated corpse versus the first half-decayed walker that Rick sees. I'm not saying this is better, but IRL, this would be scarier, I think. Nick runs away in disbelief and terror, right into the path of a moving car. And I love this panning shot, showing that despite what Nick just saw, the world is still pretty much business as usual. Which then cuts to the rest of Nick's family, mother Madison, sister Alicia, and stepfather Travis, are prepping for a very standard, no drama kind of day. But then they get a concerning call about Nick in the hospital. They suspect it's just another dragon chasing incident.
Alright, I'm gonna call for a bed.
No, Mom, no. Hey, I'm not going back.
That's how we help you.
No, we can't help me.
He doesn't open up about what actually happened, as he doesn't really understand what happened. Travis makes a call to his other family, discussing the weekend plans, where his bio son Chris protests about seeing him. We don't yet know the ins and outs of their broken relationship, beyond Chris being annoyed about Nick, causing so many problems and requiring so much attention from Travis.
He's not my friend and he's not my brother.
He'd be there for you.
He wouldn't have to be there for me, not like that.
Madison goes to work as a teacher at a high school, and before she even gets to her desk, she's having to chat with a troubled student who just tried bringing in a knife to school, speaking to him in private so the principal doesn't see, and it gets him expelled. He's worried about the rumours of a world-changing virus, but naturally Maddie dismisses this to try and put his mind at ease.
You need to spend less time online, okay? If there's a problem, we're gonna know about it.
Nick eventually opens up about what he saw, so Travis goes in to see if he's telling the truth, finding a scared teenager who freaks out and runs away, and then he finds a puddle of blood, but not the body that it came from. When he tells Maddie about this, we can see their different personalities at play, where Travis is a lot more charitable and willing to believe, whereas Maddie is more pragmatic and some might even say cynical. But despite this difference, they work well together as a couple, balancing each other out.
I want to help.
I know, babe.
Right?
Yeah, but you can't use Nick to repair things with Chris.
By the way, Travis is also a teacher at the same school. Ever since seeing his first zombie, Nick has been keeping a watch on the old guy in the opposite bed, and when he starts coding, Nick waits for the doctors to leave so he can make his escape. Meanwhile, Alicia is waiting for her boyfriend, but he doesn't show up, prompting her to send this text.
Oh no!
While out looking for Nick, they get stuck in traffic, seeing helicopters and hearing gunshots ahead.
Get back in the truck.
What's happening?
Back in the truck.
Not that uncommon for LA, but the next day they're in the teacher's lounge watching footage from what went down, and they're alarmed to see the attackers not being stopped by body shots. When more similar reports come in and the attendance is way down for quote-unquote illness, they shut the school down.
Hey, let's get out of here before we get blocked in.
Nick meets with his dealer to ask if the chef added something a little spicy into the mix that would cause him to hallucinate such horrors. But the dealer is like, no way man, I'm a nice criminal. I would never do that to my favourite customer.
Oh dear. Gorgeous.
But what I am going to do is take you down to the 6th Street Bridge and kill you for being a risk to my business.
You donkey!
In the struggle, Nick accidentally kills Calvin. When Travis and Maddie arrive, they find no Calvin and wonder if Nick just imagined it where he got high again. But then they do find Calvin in the tunnel. They think he's just delirious from bleeding out, but Nick knows better and runs him down, and then once more for good luck. When they see that he's still not dead, they realise something very strange is going down.
What the hell is happening?
I have no idea.
Alicia goes to her boyfriend's house and finds him on the floor making Beavis and Butthead noises.
Oh my god.
So much like this reference, he's probably dead, if not dying. And when Maddie checks in with her, we see that he's currently classified as sick. Knowing what this likely means, they rush over and find that he's been bitten, which at this point they don't know for sure that there's a direct correlation between this and this. They are smart enough to foresee where his road is heading, and boyfriend Matt has this foresight too, advising everyone to just go home, as he'll be fine.
Oh, no.
Chris is still not interested in seeing Daddy, but Daddy Travis knows that he needs to get all the family back together before things get real bad.
Can you just please call him? Call him, tell him to get his ass home.
Be home any minute.
Right now, Chris is drawn into an angry crowd who just saw the police shoot someone for seemingly no reason. Luckily, ex-wife Liza can see the active protest on TV, so they know where to find him. The police then shoot another walker, and now the mob realises that it's time to panic and flee. Which brings us to my favourite part, which is watching society collapse. Not because I like seeing anyone die, I'm not that morbid, but I do like the idea of people's true nature coming out. When there are no legal consequences, and their survival is now on the line, will they become selfish, destructive, rise up and try to be a leader? Or might they even go one step beyond and become a hero? And this curiosity is further explored by the introduction of this barbershop family who agree to take them in, despite Father Daniel's reservations.
We can see what's coming there.
You will be fine in
I
there.
think it'll be safer if we stay away from the front door.
No, I think you will be safer in there.
The rest of the Salazar family are daughter Ophelia and wife Griselda. While they're waiting this out, let's go back and cover a couple of points that I'm sure would make people sad if I chose not to mention them. In what could be the worst timing imaginable, Nick is going through heavy withdrawal, so Maddie goes back into the school, which is eerily quiet now, to go raid the medicine cabinet, and she gets startled by the knife student, Tobias, who instead of going to the countless other places, such as a shop to buy a knife, he snuck back into school because he wants this particular knife.
Thank you.
Despite his weirdness, I do like this kid. He seems fairly harmless, he's polite, and he's got the good senses to raid the school's pantry for canned foods. I hope he survives for a while. He almost gets eaten by the principal, but then Maddie comes in with a fire extinguisher. The episode ends with Travis's two families still being separated, hoping they can reunite back at the house, when the rioters stop rioting and the neighbours stop biting each other. The riots are still not over. In fact, they're getting worse. And we get this genuinely quite scary moment of Chris making eye contact with a freshly turned walker.
Chris.
Dad.
We get a further glimpse into Daniel Salazar's nature, which is that of self-preservation and the sole focus to protect his own, where he insists that when they get out of here, Travis and his family are to head in a different direction.
What happens if what's out there gets in here?
We run
Where?
in different directions.
And they'll all be leaving sooner than they thought, as there's a fire next door about to burn down the wall. When outside, they see the full effects of the devastation, where things are so chaotic that most people are oblivious to the dead people being reanimated and eating the living. As they try to escape the carnage, Griselda gets trapped under a scaffold tower, so Travis and the family rush back to help. Yeah, don't you feel like an a-hole now, Daniel? They manage to find Travis's truck, which somehow hasn't been destroyed by the mob, and they desperately search for a hospital, as Griselda's leg is in bad shape. But unsurprisingly, the hospitals are out of action, with the police moving people along while they deal with the Walker doctors and patients. As they watch the city going dark, Travis agrees to bring the Salazar family back to his house, or Maddie's house. I don't know who pays the mortgage here. The power was temporarily out in the house too, and they're unsettled by a scratching at the door. But it's just a dog covered in someone's blood.
What is that?
Is he hurt?
I don't think that's his blood.
His barking has drawn the attention of a neighbourly walker, so they sneak over the next door neighbour's fence to see if they can borrow their shotgun, and as no one's home, they assume it's okay. Then they see Travis's truck pull up on the drive, so they know they better get back quick before Travis and co bump into the walker. But they do, and Travis tries questioning neighbour Pete as to why he's snacking on a dog.
Peter?
Hey, you're sick. Peter, come on, Peter, it's Travis.
Dad, what are you doing? Get out of here!
Daniel knows that he won't be answering any questions, so he blasts his brains out. Meanwhile, Alicia went back for the shotgun shells and noticed that Mrs. Tran is still home, but she's not really here in spirit, and she grabs Alicia's hair while she's trying to get back over the fence. Luckily, she's unharmed, and the family gets a chance to observe a walker up close, assessing if there's any humanity left.
She's sick.
Is she bitten?
She's not sick. She's dead.
Morning comes and Travis is still holding on to hope that things will return to normal, speaking to Susan
Morning, Susan.
and taking out the trash. He's also reluctant to allow Chris to learn about guns, which goes beyond naive into the territory of being stupid. I'm not a gun person, but after seeing what happened last night, I sure as hell would become a gun person. I'd be arming my kids with a gun twice as big as they are. They attempt to leave town to find a safer base camp when they notice that Susan's husband has returned home, and right as he's about to be eaten by his own wife, the military swoop in. They have the entire neighbourhood in quarantine, and there's an uncertainty in the air as to whether or not they should consider themselves saved. The people of the quarantine town are a real mixed bag. Some people are embracing the idea of this being the new normal, while others are really anxious to know what's really going on out there. And Chris is capturing this all on his video diary.
It's safe inside the fence. Outside, everything's dead. Everyone's gone.
But his monologuing gets cut short when he notices an SOS signal from a faraway building in the Forbidden Zone. Travis wants to ground him both figuratively and literally, saying get down from the roof. We're too busy building a community to worry about some reflection in a place we can't get to. Lieutenant Moyes is trying to reassure the townsfolk about the progress they're making in containing the outbreak, but the people are getting frustrated with the lack of clarity as to what's really going on. And he's like, hey, you guys are the lucky ones, so be happy and count your blessings, because outside that perimeter is an ugly world, where you will likely end up dead if you venture in. Ophelia's getting frisky with a soldier, so that's no doubt going to be a useful connection. Also, Travis is being treated like a spokesperson for the people, who Moyes relies on to keep the peace. And his first task is talking some sense into a guy called Doug, who's on the edge of breaking, feeling like a beta in a world of alpha walkers, knowing that at some point he's going to be helpless, watching his wife get munched on as he sits in the corner. Travis says you've got to pretend you're holding it together, otherwise the soldiers are going to see you as a problem that they've got to deal with. Instead of taking the advice, he took his car and tried to escape quarantine. But Moyes says that the boys caught him and was taken away to a nearby facility to be fully assessed. It might not appear to be the friendly choice, but they can't have some unhinged guy in danger in the camp. So Moyes says,
he's a head case. Can't have that around camp. God damn it!
Dr. Exner has been sent over from the facility to lead the medical aid here and get a profile on everyone's health status. Before she arrived, all they had was Liza, who's only a student nurse. But Dr. Exner commends her for doing a professional job regardless, and she'll be relying on her assistance soon. By the way, I just realised that Dr. Exner is played by the same actor who played Howard's wife in Better Call Saul. Out of curiosity, Maddie looks out for the SOS signal, and when she finally sees it, she breaks out at sunrise to go see what's up. The atmosphere and music is excellent as she's roaming around the morbid and deadly quiet streets. This silence broken as a patrol nearly catches her, but luckily she hid under a car. Griselda's injury isn't getting any better, so Dr. Exner insists that she gets carted away to get surgery in the nearby facility, promising that Daniel will be accompanying her. But when the military come pick her up, they say that Daniel isn't on their list, but surprisingly Nick is.
Run.
That's a mistake. No, that's
Hey,
a
watch
mistake.
yourself.
No.
Take it easy, take it easy.
And Liza is called upon to assist the doctor, giving her no time to explain to the others. She has to go now. The episode ends with Travis seeing the SOS signal, but it's now too late, as the military have gone in to shut them down. The episode opens with the smoothest voice in the entire franchise.
You are a buyer. How do I know? Because I am a closer.
This is Victor Strand, a man who uses his money and charisma to always get what he wants, which begs the question how he ended up in here, but we'll see if that gets answered. Right now, he's taunting poor Doug about the possibility that as he's gained weight since being married, and she stayed slim, she's going to be more easily tempted to find a new man now that he's out the picture.
Alright, open up. I don't know what came over.
He did that as a test for the people in the cell, seeing who he might be able to work with. Doug was too weak, but maybe this next guy will pass.
So, then, who the hell are you?
Who are you talking to right now?
Ophelia is demanding to see her mother, and the soldiers warn her to stop throwing bottles. Ophelia's boyfriend Andrew intervenes, saying he'll go in and calm the situation. Liza's also asking to see Griselda, but Dr. Exner reminds her that they have a whole school gymnasium filled with patients and only a few nurses at hand, so her visit's gonna have to wait. Turns out Ophelia was on a mission to lure Andrew in so that he can be interrogated about where Nick and Griselda are being kept. The interrogator is Daniel, a man hardened by a traumatic childhood growing up in war-torn El Salvador. Back then, he was forced into the position of being an interrogator, but now he's doing this out of choice, and he won't stop until Andrew fesses up. Fearing for his life, he reveals the location of the hospital/holding cells, but then Daniel asks about Operation Cobalt, and this is where Andrew tightens his lips. So Daniel gets to work cutting more flesh.
What is Cobalt?
Back in the cells, Nick's been flagged for running a high temperature, and so they try taking him away. But then Strand makes a trade to keep him around.
Hold! Let me have the boy. I'll keep an eye on him. Take this as collateral.
Explaining to Nick that this wasn't done out of kindness. He did it so that Nick owes him his service. Knowing that Nick is an addict, he's the type of person that is hungry to get what he needs to survive, and Strand has a plan to get out of here. Moyes agrees to take Travis to the holding cells / you know what, I'm going to stop calling it different things now. We know the facility is a makeshift hospital. I'm just going to say hospital. Also, I've been misreading Moyes' name as Moyes, so that's going to stop too. On the way to the hospital, they spot a walker, and they suggest that Travis should be the one to take it out.
No. I'm not a good shot.
I'll do it, sir. Hell no, you won't. Hell no.
This is a really great scene, as it forces Travis to face the reality of what the military are having to do every day, without a cozy bed or family to go back home to.
Someone likes to live under the protection.
All due respect, sir. No.
And eat our MREs
You're
and
not
sleep in a
listening to
cozy
me.
bed with his pretty wife, but when it comes to getting his hands dirty...
When he steps up to the plate, he looks the walker right in the eyes and struggles with the idea of pulling the trigger. So Moyes steps in to do the dirty work for him. Then they're all called into action as another patrol got ambushed in the building. A whole squad goes in, but only a couple make it out, with one of the losses being Moyes. At least I got his name right before he died. Back home, Travis finds out about the interrogation and barges in to put a stop to it, but it's over with now anyways, as Andrew has revealed that Operation Cobalt is getting the military out of town by sunup so that they can bomb the survivors, knowing they probably won't survive anyway and are taking up resources. Griselda's leg was successfully removed, but now her brain is swelling. Exner gets the bolt gun, warning that she will turn at any moment, but Liza steps in to be the one who does it. The episode ends with Daniel finding a stadium where the soldiers have locked up a ton of walkers. I love opening sequences like this, where you get a city-wide glance at the carnage. Makes me wonder who else is still alive out here. And then of course we get the haunting reminder that even if there are survivors, this lot are probably going to eat them. The family pack up, ready to roll out, before Operation Cobalt begins. And Daniel considers tying up the loose end by killing Andrew, but he says, wait, you're going to need me to find your family. You know which building to go to, but behind what door will you find your prize? He rides with Travis and implores him to see that setting him free is the only right move to make. He'll give his guidance to Travis here, because if he comes along, Daniel will kill him when he's no longer of use. Right now, Daniel's setting up the ultimate distraction by casually strolling past the hospital guards, along with the crap ton of walkers that he just set free.
Holy s***! Multiple infected
A great plan for getting in, but maybe not so much for getting people out. Luckily, Nick and Strand still have the key, but that's only step one of escaping.
Helping them could hurt us.
Don't leave us here.
There's no value add. Save yourself, Nick. Let others drop behind.
Chris and Alicia are guarding the car, but they get found by the soldiers, who demand they hand over the keys. And then, when they suggest that Alicia should also hand herself over, Chris loses his cool and winds up getting knocked out. Outside, the dead are pushing their way through the fence, and when this one soldier gets bitten, he decides to slice off his own head. Nick and Strand are making their way through the halls looking for a safe exit, but they pause when Strand sees a soldier he traded with, who's now being snacked on by a walker. Strand says, you can keep the watch, but I'm taking my cufflinks back. These are very special to me, and we'll see why later on. He doesn't say this verbatim, but let's just pretend. The family find Nick and whoever this Strand fella is, and Liza gets the door open just in time. They take a momentary pause to grieve the loss of Griselda, but right now they can't be busy crying or else they'll be busy dying. Strand welcomes them to come back to his swanky apartment, so long as they assist getting him there. They invite Dr. Exner to come along, but she's lost all hope.
You can get out. There's nowhere to go.
When they regroup at the car park, they're intercepted by Andrew, and this really ticks off Travis, because he set him free on the agreement that Andrew would leave and not turn back. Travis is tipped over the edge when Andrew shoots Ophelia. Quite the turning point for a guy who seemed the most harmless of all. Strand's place hasn't been compromised yet, so they rest up here for a while, attending to Ophelia's gunshot wound. And she wasn't the only one who got hurt, Liza revealing that she got bit. She requests Travis to take her out before Chris sees her turn.
You gotta protect him from this. Okay, promise me. Promise.
Even though they're exes now, Liza is still the mother of his son, so this is an emotional gut punch. Maddie comforting Travis as the camera pans out, and we end this season. And what a season that was. Nothing warms my dead zombie heart like being reminded of the good times in the TWD franchise. I honestly can't recall when I initially dropped off when I was watching this series in my personal time, but I do recall feeling incredibly frustrated by around season 4-ish. I guess we'll be finding out when exactly together when it happens to me again. But like always, I intend to make it a joyride for you still, recycling crap into something useful. You can call me a hero if you wish, I will accept that title. Speaking of heroes, look at all these superhumans on screen. I have never seen such a bunch of immaculate beings, who are immortalised by being on my video credits. I look forward to seeing them, and I look forward to seeing you on the next season, which when available will be on screen now. Until then, I'll put something else tasty here.